Hello, I'm Julia Pauels. I'm originally from Germany, where I got a degree in computer science, but I quickly switched over to graphic design because it was just more interesting and more creative. For the first 15 years of my career, I worked at an exhibit design company, designing museum exhibits, graphics, and interactive exhibits. And then most recently, I managed a marketing creative team at a healthcare IT company, creating all kinds of marketing materials. I have to admit that first I was kind of hesitant using AI because all I heard was students using ChatGPT to write their papers. And being from Germany, where everything is like by the book and lots of rules, I thought it was kind of cheating and fake. But actually, there is so much more you can do with AI, and I found that out pretty quickly. And even as a designer, who likes to usually do everything by herself, I found there's a lot of tools that save time and let you concentrate on the more important details. Who here has been laid off sometime in the last year or so? Who's looking for a job? I thought, how could I use AI to maybe help me with my resume or my headshot? I thought, why not give it a try? And I feel like, especially as a senior in a senior design role, it's been pretty competitive lately, and I haven't heard back from the many applications that I sent with my normal resume. And so I thought, let's do some research and try out some AI tools. So at first, I'm going to talk about updating your resume using an AI tool. Then I'll cover a headshot using AI, also talking about updating your portfolio, and I'll just give a general overview of the tools that I used. So my talk today is a lot, just showing a lot of tools, and hopefully it can help some of you as well. All right. So this is my old resume from about 8 years ago when I last looked for a job. And you can see, it's like very generic. It's designed, but there's an intro education, and then there's my experience listing kind of the responsibilities I had at my last jobs. But what recruiters want to see is not a list of responsibilities. They want to see what difference you made for the company that you worked for. And a lot of recruiters, they don't even look at your resumes anymore. They have an AI engine that goes through your resume and, sorts out the ones that are applicable for the job or for the person that they're looking for. And if they can't find any success stories, they might, put you aside. So there's a bunch of AI tools that are scanning your existing resume, like JobScan, for example, and they just give you suggestions based on background information that they have. And then there's some other ones that help you build a resume from scratch, and that's kind of what I'm going to show today. The one that I used is called Resume Genius, and it's free to use up to a certain point. I'm going to show one example of just putting in my last job. So I want to create a new resume. I have 10 plus years of experience, and I have a top college degree, not enrolled anymore. So they give you recommendations of, a template for your resume. I won't use this in the end because I prefer to design it myself. I feel like as a designer, your resume needs to be a little bit more creative. So I'll just use one of them. Currently, I work as a freelance designer. I'm not going to put in my birth date. This is live streamed. it'll ask me what my most recent work experience is. So I'll put in my last title, which is Senior Design Manager at a company called Dr. First, which was in Rockville, Maryland. Even before COVID, I worked remotely, which was amazing. And then my husband joined me in my home office, which was a little bit difficult at first. I put in the time that I worked there. And then I can either say I want to add in my information myself, or I can preview recommended bullet points. So based on my title, it'll give me about 80 results of bullet points that I can put into my resume. And it even already fills in a few that they think, is probably the most fitting. So I can go through and, see which one applies to me. If there's not that many that apply, or if I feel like, it's not quite right, I can also always update this to search for typical bullets for other kinds of titles. Like, I feel like I did a lot of creative director type of work. So it'll give me a whole bunch of other suggestions. And they recommend never, adding more than 6 bullet points, which, obviously I agree. But when I used this, I just pulled everything over that I thought applied, and then I just copied it out later and then edited it down to 3 to 6 bullet points. And so after you input this, it creates a little field for that last job, and then you just continue adding. And once you're done, it'll also ask you for skills, any certifications, your education, etc. And then it spits out a document, which you can download if you pay for it, or you can just copy out the content if you want to. For my cover letter, I'm going to use Bing, which uses, should I zoom in a little bit? Uses ChatGPT-4. And it seems like the only way to use ChatGPT-4 for free. And where's my text? I just wrote a little blurb about what I've done in the last 20 years. And I'm going to ask it to help me write a cover letter for my resume. And I gave it a little bit of information about myself. What I like about Bing is that you can choose 3 different modes of results. You can do a creative mode, more balanced approach, or a more precise approach, which is more kind of like more Google. You're just asking it a question, about something, and it'll give you a precise answer. So I'm just going to send this off. So what I think is kind of interesting about Bing is that it doesn't only give you a result as a cover letter. It also explains what a cover letter is and gives you all kinds of other information that might be useful for you. It also, at the end, it'll add some sources where it has all that information. So it's always a good source to get back to. Okay, so here's this recommended cover letter, and that's something, obviously I wouldn't take it as is, but I think it'll give me a good idea, to get started, and then I can always go in and do some edits. And even here it recommends, putting in some special achievements or anything, like anything that was good for the company or anything important, like with numbers, maybe some ROI or some other achievements that you did at your last company. All right, so let's get back to my slides. So also in this resume, I included a headshot. I kind of like using it. I used to do theater, and I'm used to doing headshots. But this picture is about 14 years old, before kids and before getting married, and I don't really look like that anymore. So I thought it was time to update. But I'm a photographer and I don't really like to take pictures, have pictures taken of myself. So I'm going to use an AI tool to create a photorealistic image of myself. So there are also obviously a bunch of image tools to create headshots. I'm sure most of you have heard of Facetune. You can upload a picture and just kind of enhance it. But I wanted to create one from scratch, so I used one called Aragon. Well, I will show you what that looks like. So basically, you upload about 20 images of yourself, selfies from different positions, different light, and upload it, and then it takes about 1 to 2 hours for them to come back with a couple hundred images. It costs about $30. If you search for coupon, you probably get it for less. So here are many, many, many images. Some look more like me, some look less like me. But it's to be expected there's like out of, let's say, 200, maybe half of them are not usable. But that they tell you that beforehand. So I'm not sure if I can find the image that I used, but I already downloaded it. So when you click on them, you can just download it as a PNG, I think. So let me open it up in Photoshop. Here's the photo that I liked, but it has some flaws. So as you can see here on my forehead, I'm not sure what that is. Looks like some kind of a hairline or a spider. So obviously I want to fix that, and I just opened up Photoshop Beta, which also has some integrated AI tools from Firefly. So I'm just going to outline. I will big outline this area, and apply a content-aware fill, which means it takes information from around and fills that area so it looks more natural. And then another thing I want to do is I want to be able to use this as a profile picture on LinkedIn, for example, or Facebook. And I want to have a square where I can actually do a nice crop in a circle. So Firefly has a generative AI tool called Generative Expand. So I'm using the Expand tool, or the crop tool, and I'm going to select Generative Expand and then pull, to approximately a square. And then I can even add a prompt saying I want a certain background. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hit generate, and it'll add some stuff around me and even complete my sweater. So, and it also gives you 3 options to choose from. When I did this last time, this looked a little bit cleaner here. You see a little bit of a line, but I mean, anybody who can use Photoshop, can easily fix that. Or even with a content-aware fill, you can fix that. Yep. So there's my headshot. So next, I wanted to talk about adding to your portfolio, and with all this huge wave of AI tools now, I think as a designer, it's great to show that you are aware and maybe are able to use some of those tools and to your advantage, and maybe implement in your workflow while still using your traditional methods. In addition, you're still a designer. Most designers will probably use it for ideas, for concepting. And I know a lot of people that are using for storyboarding, and also for set design. A friend of a friend works for a TV show, and they're using it mid-journey to create ideas for set design, for example. So I'm going to go back to Bing, which also has an image creation tool. My daughter and I recently started a business on Etsy, creating earrings. And I went to Bing. I already created a logo, so it looks different, but I wanted to see what Bing do with this prompt: create a graphic artwork for me of a cute cat eating ice cream. So these are the 4 it spit out for me. And this bottom left one I thought was the cutest. So I'm going to use that. And actually one question I had for Coco that I wasn't able to ask was how, what image format is she able to export? And I imagine it's going to be either PNG or a JPEG, but you can tell me later. But I haven't found any yet that are able to export vector files. And, a lot of times you want to be able to enlarge artwork that you created or adjust it, and it's much easier with a vector file. So I actually downloaded this file. Image trace is not AI, but I'm going to use it to get it to a vector file. I'll just use color, but I'm going to go down to about 5 colors and hit trace. And it doesn't quite get the gray of the cat right, but I can easily adjust that. So now it's all vectors. I can change this color here, a fill color to a gray. And then if I want to, I could even change the color of the ice cream, maybe to a chocolate, and then use it, further for other things, like or a business card or a big poster. But let's go back to Bing. If I like this image as is and I want to create some advertising on Instagram, for example, I can go from Bing right into Microsoft Designer, which also uses AI to create social images. I can say, use this image to create an Instagram post for me. Introducing my new jewelry business called Marvelous Treasures. And you probably already noticed there's a cat theme going on in my presentation. My daughter is obsessed with cats. All right, so it spit out a bunch of options for my Instagram post. And, you can, when you click on them and customize the design, you can still make some adjustments. You can change the font, you can move stuff around. It also gives you some additional layout ideas. You can even add an image, maybe of somebody wearing our earrings, and then you can save that out, and it's ready to go on Instagram. So I think it might be a great idea to use something like that to show a workflow on your portfolio, for example, as a case study to show, how you're using AI and how it could benefit the company to, that you can save them a lot of time by maybe using some of those tools. So in summary, here are some of the tools that I've played with in the last few weeks in preparation for this presentation. Resume Genius is the one that I use for my resumes. And for headshot, I used Aragon AI, but there are a bunch of other ones that you can try out. I didn't use the presentation tools for this presentation, but there are also a bunch of tools that create a whole outline for you for a presentation. You can just say, hey, create me a presentation about a 15-minute talk about using AI to find a job as a graphic designer, and it'll give you a whole outline what you could be talking about. And then Beautiful AI creates single slides based on prompts. For example, create a graph comparing browser usage across the US, and it'll pull that data and create a graph for you. FreePick also has some AI tools, slide design, also has a text writer and an image creator. Some other tools, Bing Chat and Microsoft Designer, already talked about. ClipDrop by Stability AI also has a bunch of cool tools, and if we still have time, I can show some. And then Adobe Firefly also talked about, and FreePic as well. And another great source to learn more about AI is Google Cloud Skill Boost from Google. They offer free classes and trainings about generative AI, and I'll learn all about AI, LLMs, etc. I just did a comparison of 4 different AI generative image tools, AI imaging tools, and the results were pretty interesting between them. These are the good results. There's some bad results too. I did this in my last job already. I had 2 graphic designers under me, and I gave each of them a tool to research and then give a presentation after a couple months. So we kind of went through a lot of different tools. One of them did Midjourney. The other one, which one did she do? It's a video tool that has like a video avatar. Can't remember the name right now. And kind of we just all, like each of us went through, researching a few things and also sharing with the rest of the company and kind of showing how we can use the tools, and also like by showing some examples that we've used. And so that's basically what I'm thinking I would continue to do, just kind of continuous training in AI tools and like always finding the latest tool. Ideally, a lot of them are going to start having like whole workflows, like kind of like Bing, where you have text input. You can also, get image creation. Then you move on, like you stay within one workflow to continue working on it, creating an image and then working on it to create some social imagery or some text that goes with it, etc. So. Yeah, I think there's like a lot of jumping around right now, like between the tools to get like the perfect result at the end. And I mean, you don't lose being a designer. I think a lot of this stuff is just for inspiration. And I mean, there's still, I feel like, a lot of people say, oh, generative AI is going to replace designers. I don't think so. I think you still have to have that creative mind to really produce outstanding graphics. But I think the AI really helps, get you your ideas and get you there. Probably Stability AI, Stable Diffusion's tools. They have, I didn't even get to show them, but they also have a sketching tool where you just draw on the screen and it'll spit out a bunch of images. It'll also lets you choose, kind of similar to the last tool that we saw, what kind of style you want. And then they have, similar to Firefly, a bunch of other tools. But it's very easy to go down the rabbit hole. So I spend a lot of time just getting stuck on one thing. And I'm like, no, I need to concentrate on preparing this. But there's I feel like every day there's so many new tools coming out. And for everyone that's coming out today, there are going to be like 25 others tomorrow. So.